everyone, and welcome to Zest to Zen with me, Shel Marie, the podcast that will take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, fueling your passion whilst finding your peace. I am super excited today to welcome Jonathan Robinson, a certified hypnotherapist specializing in past life regression. Exploring deep subconscious layers. He helps his clients release trauma, reconnect with their true essence through uncovering past lives, breaking limiting beliefs, and creating new patterns for success. He supports profound transformation and personal empowerment. I am so excited just to connect with him, find out all about what he's been up to, how this all started. So let's explore the hidden dimensions of the mind and the mysteries that shape who we are. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. So one thing I always love to ask to start with is, for example, past life regression. I think, nowadays most people hear about these things, but sometimes what we specialize in, I always love to know like where they came about. Like, did you just hear about it and then you were interested, or just anything you'd like to share of where it all began?
Well, I was asking the universe, what should I do with my life? I was working a job I wasn't happy with, and I was feeling empty inside, even though I had money and a girlfriend and a place to live. And I was just down in the dumps for some reason in my late 20s. And I started meditating, transcendental meditation, and I quit my job with nothing else lined up. After that, I was wondering, what's my purpose? Why am I here? What can I do to make me feel like I'm playing a role or a part in living toward my highest expectations? So I was at a health food store and I heard someone talk about Michael Newton at the cash register, and my whole body started vibrating like it was really important.
Wow.
And I was like, my alert went off, but it was a good thing. It was something that's important. So I went home, I studied Michael Newton. I couldn't even sleep that night. I was so excited. I found the missing key I was looking for. But I'm a skeptic. So after I read all his books, Dolores Cannon's books, they made a lot of sense. But in my mind, how can our brain remember what happened before we were alive? I didn't understand that, because it seems like if we're a physical being and biological, how can the mind remember memories previous to this lifetime?
Yeah.
And I'm exploring that, and we can talk more about that. But lo and behold, all my clients that I tried this with, they go into their past lives, whether it's memories or metaphors or whatever. They're getting deep empowerment, deep connections to fears, phobias, and birthmarks. And I guess it doesn't matter whether it's real or not. The question is, does it help people? Does it help people spiritually? And the answer is yes.
Wow. And just to add on to that, I've never thought about that, but that makes complete sense, because if like what people think we are consciousness and this is our vessel or whatever people, want to say, then yeah, the brain is a part of that. So I never even thought about that. Like, yeah.
What? And so in these sessions, and I think everyone can do this. Some people don't even need a guide. Children between 0 and 8 remember their past lives sometimes because it's the previous one that's most relevant. Maybe it was a death scene. If you guys have Amazon Prime, The Ghost Within My Child is a great series. It's theatrical, but it has real stories with real families in it. The Ghost Within My Child. And and yeah, I thought, and so what was the question? Oh,
Yeah.
how does the mind remember? Oh, so all psychics go into the theta frequency, the frequency of hypnosis. So children are in that all the time, but we access that when we do psychedelics, when psychics and mediums go into that. And so it's almost like we're turning on the antenna in our pineal gland, and we're getting access to the internet or the ether of the universe, and we're able to download, using human terms, insights.
I love that. No, but I think that's really important, because this is why I love doing this. Like, regardless of what everyone thinks or this, that, and the other, essentially there's so many ways of saying the same thing, and I think the moment you can make it more relatable and understandable, like we don't have to use all these high, these high scientific sometimes words. Like even when I first learned about quantum physics, just the word quantum almost gave me this like anxiety back to schooling of no, I don't want to know about this type of thing, and I imagine like a workbook and but when it shows that sometimes we have these blocks that will prevent us from actually accessing something that actually we are really interested in. So as much as possible, when I learn something, I like to break it down into a way that like all can relate to it, all can understand it. Because if you think about it, like your example of a child, whether people believe this or don't believe this, you can relate to a child in their imagination, and their fears are so strong. These don't just come from anywhere. Like a child could never have been near water, but they have this intense fear sometimes, and it's like, well, where does that come from? Whereas another, not hasn't been near water and just jumps in. Like, okay, you could say different personalities, this, that, and the other, but I feel like children, they're very yes or no. Like they're very like just tuned into like whereas I think as an adult we have a lot more of like, stuff going on in the brain of like, okay, I don't want to make a scene, don't want to do this, don't want to do the other. Or we just completely just avoid that situation to start with ahead of even anything unfolding.
Yeah.
Whereas children don't do that. Like often it's stumbled upon, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, children, everything's new. Change.
yeah.
So when we get older, we get stuck in our ways, but everything's new. So the neuroplasticity is open to like learning. And when
Mm,
they're in that age, 0 to 8, they're in theta. So they're being programmed to learn everything they need to learn for adolescence and adulthood. Children can remember multiple languages very quickly and
mm,
learn things very quickly. After age 8, we learn through either repetition or we actually learn in hypnosis as well. But everyone can
mm.
relate. Like if you get trained at your job at work, you don't get trained when you read the manual. You get trained when you do it. So that
Absolutely.
repetition.
And often
Um,
through doing it not always the right way. And then you learn very quickly.
yeah.
Um,
The
so
universe is a hard teacher. Yeah, they'll
yeah.
test us. But
Yeah.
I think people relate to the children because they're so innocent. And the
Yeah.
4-year-old says to his dad, who's American, never seen like a different culture. He found this 4-year-old looking at the sky one day for like 10 minutes, and 4-year-olds usually move around, they're active.
Mm-mm.
It was just thinking. And she said to her dad, "Remember when we were Japanese?" And then a
Sweet.
week later, he gives her a paintbrush and she draws all these Japanese symbols. And
Wow.
then that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's way more in
Mm.
that story. So, yeah, where are they getting these memories
Yeah,
from?
it's incredible, isn't it? And I think like the other side of it, which it's a shame sometimes that this happens, and we don't learn to be more open about it. But like even with like say, oh, I just was speaking to grandma or something, and it scares the adult, or or something, and you hear these stories like once the child's almost sometimes had a traumatic experience of it being shut down because it's more the adult that can't handle whatever's happened. To then later in life, the mum or whoever are revealing, oh, well, that's actually what grandma used to wear, and that's what she used to, like things come out. And I think, like, I know we're all different, we're all on our different paths, we're all learning our different things, but I think it's super important, especially when a child is young, to just try and see more their innocence, that they don't generally say or create scenarios because they don't have that, they're not brought up with that ability to manipulate or to, like, and as much as possible just to see like the blessing in it sometimes, that they're our great, I think they're our greatest teachers.
Oh, yeah. Many
Yeah.
parents tell me, "What did you learn?" Oh, I learned patience. I think all parents can relate to that. But kids are
Yeah.
so innocent, and I do substitute teaching. So I substitute taught last year, and I do all K through 12 here in US and in Michigan. And the children before age grade 4 are very much like a group consciousness. They all want to
Mm-hmm.
play and have fun. And if someone's mean, sometimes the whole class will be like, "Hey, we all want to be in this group consciousness and be happy and fine and playing." And then after middle school, they kind of get individuality and join
Mm.
cliques and make fun of each other. And then in high school, they get into relationships and they start having more complex adult conversations. So they learn their individuality. And then after, when we're 30, we want to go back to that group consciousness and
Yeah,
be with each other and love and let go of all the hurt. We
absolutely.
cover up our true authentic self with because we get made fun of as a kid. And we don't want to get made fun of, so we cover it up and we act differently. But we really should be our true authentic self because we all have a fingerprint, a style, a voice, and we all want to. Unconditional love is loving ourselves unconditionally for who we are on the inside.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of ironic, isn't it? We go to school to learn, and then we find almost once we leave school that we spend the rest of the time unlearning. um, but not necessarily all of us, but I'd love to know, like, how has your own personal journey, like, shaped how you help others? Or is it because, like, sorry, this probably ends up being two questions, but is the past life regression and the hypnotherapy hand in hand, or can it actually be separate?
Well, some people, so it is hand in hand. It's a very effective way to do it. So my clients are viewing their past lives like a daydream. They're getting visions, knowings, or feelings of their past lives. We go to 3 past lives usually in a 2-hour session, and they go, from a scene of just a field in a desert or an ocean or a forest,
Mm.
whatever it is, to their house, to an important day, to a challenging day, to relationship, to whatever the theme of their questions before the session, the higher self will show them those insights.
Wow.
And so we do that with the guided meditation called Hypnosis. It's just like a meditation, guys. It's really easy. I'll explain kind of hypnosis and what it is and what it isn't later on, probably. But you can also go to a psychic or an Akashic Records person, but the difference is they will tell you your past lives or what happened instead of you actually being in it. So, and
Mm.
then a lot of people have to come to me from those sessions because, oh, but in the past life I had a traumatic accident and I still feel it in my
Mm.
body and I need to relieve it. So in my sessions, we help also ayahuasca ceremonies and plant medicine, past lives comes up a lot. So
Mm.
we need to, in my sessions, we not only identify the root cause of the feeling, we alleviate it using several different energy healing techniques
Wow.
that I do with Reiki.
I think that's super important. I don't know why this just came to mind, but something recently, it was actually a recent conversation I was having with someone. And again, it's no judgment to how anyone does anything, but I think what you just said is really, really important because there's a difference between now speaking and you saying, okay, you did this, and naturally what we do, even in things that happen in our life or don't happen in our life, we create the story and we get the feeling of what we would feel. But I feel like you go straight to the root and you're experiencing it, and then you're able to maybe talk about it. Like, obviously I'm just like going on what you've said, but like, for example, someone recently got told, oh, you're basically going to spend the rest of this life undoing all the karma of your last life. And I just think, okay, even if that's true or not, that's a lot to tell somebody. And it was almost like, good luck, bye. And I'm like, okay, you've just left her now, really sitting with that. And I think it's a very powerful gift to have. And I think just like with everything in life, it isn't necessarily the knowing, it's the implementation that I think is really like, we have to really be empathetic still. Like, we don't want to again mask or suppress because there's enough of that in this life, but actually, like, just have that compassion of stepping back, and especially when it says something that might be traumatic, of how it's kind of delivered.
I totally agree. Yeah, some therapist had told one of my clients she was having like she was having issues with her cycle or her period, and then
Mm,
the therapist said, "Oh, that's a sign you might be bipolar," and it's like,
gosh.
okay, that doesn't mean you should just say that. It's not doesn't mean she is. I mean, so and her worst fear because her mom had bipolar, so. And so
Mm,
our words matter. And so, yeah, in the sessions, we do go to challenging and we do shadow work, but we also see our wins, our successes, our success. Maybe
mm,
have an example. Someone had a past life regression with me. They have a abusive relationship in this life. Well, we went to three past lives. One, they were the abuser,
mm,
and then the other, they were being abused. And then the next past life we went to was one of love, one of happiness, of happy
mm.
family. Everything was so wonderful. The higher self showed him this, not me. It showed him what they needed to see to learn the lessons. And afterward, she reports feeling well, one, we also released her throat chakra was clogged because she
Mm.
wasn't speaking her truth. Now her voice sounds different, and she
Wow.
reports finding a more mutual respecting partner.
Beautiful. And I think that's really powerful what you've just said, because again, in the delivery, it could be like, you were, then you experienced it, and then you had this incredible, again, you had this most beautiful life of love, and then it'd be like, well, what happened now? Well, what? So again, I think like even the positive, it's very important how, like, because again, if, oh, you are royal in your past life, and I know there's these funny memes, but you hear so many people say like, oh, but if you knew me in my past life, and it's just like, okay, we are still in this life, but how can we take whatever incredible information we've discovered and apply it? Because if we could tap into that before, we can do it again. So I love that you let her know, well, not let her know, but brought it to her awareness that you experienced this before, you can experience this again. And I think that's really beautiful and very healing.
Yeah, yeah, the higher self does a wonderful job. It'll show you everything you're ready to see. It won't show you anything you're not ready to see. And your
Mm,
past lives you view today will be different than 5 years from now because it's all to help the current life. You'll be going through different challenges and spiritual lessons at different moments of our life in years and decades. So it'll bring you to multiple different past lives depending on your challenges you're going through. And it's really beautiful. I have my clients write out their intentions, and usually all their
mm,
questions are answered. And just it's just a really gentle way, and it's very effective and transformational. So I think everyone should try it. And really, I want to help people not fear death and increase the love in this world because
mm.
it's not, it's almost like life is but a dream. People feel more connected with these NDEs, near-death experience stories, and
Yeah.
everything that happens in the spirit world after death. With our foundation of this universe is love. And through past lives, I hope everyone can realize that we can eliminate discrimination because we can see each other as souls and spirits and not our physical differences. We've all been male and female, rich
Hmm.
and poor, dark skin, light skin, all different
Yeah.
cultures and experiences. And if we knew that, we could see each other as spirits and souls and not our differences.
That's so beautiful. And even before I started exploring all this type of thing, something that I must have always done, which I think is a beautiful gift to have, but it's not always the most practical. And that's I used to fall in love very much with the if you want to call it the higher version, the potential I saw in a person, because when I used to connect with, say, someone, it would, naturally just talking, if we want to say their soul would just really tap into like really actually what they wanted in life and not the reality of maybe what they were living. And yeah, it would be almost like we were just in this cocoon of like what the potential could be, and I would very easily fall in love with that, which, you know, it's beautiful to see the highest version of someone, but also come back down to earth. And right now, is this the person that you could see, I don't know, having a child with, getting serious with, whatever? And it's no judgment on someone else, but it's important to, like, you know, live in that world, that beautiful imagination, because essentially our imagination is what creates where we really push ourselves and our desires and we strive for, but also to be very much in the reality as well. And I think it's important.
Yeah. It's good to have that discernment. So our brain, when we look for problems, we find them everywhere. When we look for solutions, we find them everywhere
Mm,
as well. When we look for the good in people, we find that. But so yeah, a lot of people when they go through, and a lot of people breakups come to me from relationships or struggling with grief and stuff like that. And what I help them with is perhaps you didn't like perhaps you were in love with the idea of what they could be
mm,
and you together, not what they showed you, what they told
yes,
you, not they showed you. So a lot of times we like the idea of what it could be and not what's the reality of it. So emotions, it's such a strong emotion.
absolutely. And it's ironic that just not to stay too far on this topic, but I just feel like things are relevant sometimes. That I had this because, say, previously at no fault other than myself, because I think it's important, we shouldn't always point out, we should take responsibility for our own versions. And I know that, like, conscious communication is something I definitely needed to work on, and I found that tricky to express that sometimes. But then, because I was so focused on this, it was almost like, oh, it's really important that I have that clear communication with someone. And then, whether we want to say the universe, whatever, then brought me pretty much lots of people that didn't speak my language, actually, very recently. And I then really saw the beauty in connecting soul to soul, because through their actions, I really saw the love, I really saw the intention, I really saw, whereas before I thought, which equally, you know, communication is extremely important, but when you're held sometimes so much on the not say false promises, because we receive whatever we accept, and it just felt actually really beautiful and liberating, friendship or non-friendship, it doesn't matter, to really see the action of the person and have that break from the communication. And I think it was really powerful.
Yeah, we need to have we need to have balance. One, we can't be 2 feet in the spiritual or just be in the 3D, and so we need to have that balance of discernment and
Yeah,
hope. And so glad you found that.
yeah. And again, I don't think it's this or that. I think just sometimes when we really have strong um, desires or beliefs, it's important for something to come in and say, actually, take a look at this, because that's what helps us see the world with fresher eyes each time, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
and look for those signs and symbols. I know when I do my life review, I'm gonna be like, "How did you miss all those signs? They were so clear, Jonathan." So make sure you stay
yeah,
aware.
absolutely. I'm loving this conversation. So yeah, just thinking about people contacting you, because I know there's going to be so many people that want to reach out after this, because it's definitely something I've been very interested about, and even hypnotherapy is something I really want to explore further. The mind, I think, is just such an exceptional, um, whatever we want to call it. Um, yeah, I just really
What
enjoy it.
I do have some exciting projects that I'm working
Mhm.
on right now.
Beautiful.
So if anyone wants to try this, you can go to my Instagram, Journeys into Past Lives. There are underscores instead of spaces because it's Instagram, but Journeys into Past Lives website, all that stuff. And next month, in a few weeks, my app is coming out. So if you ever wanted to
Wow.
try it, I have an app. There'll be single sessions, easy daily meditations. There'll be journeys for anxiety or sleep or depression or the hard stuff, the challenging stuff, the emotions, the trauma, the PTSD as well will be in there. Past
Mm.
lives as well. So check that out. I'm really excited for that. And then if you guys ever want to learn hypnosis, learn how to do it, be a facilitator, do past lives, I'm going to be teaching a few courses a year, but the next one is in a month from now. So in mid-November, learn hypnotherapy, get certified. You'll be able to hypnotize anyone. And it's level one is clinical, level two is past lives with a strong lean toward metaphysical, because that's what I enjoy.
Amazing.
And then, yeah, I have my one-on-one sessions, and I've done this, guys, with people from all over the world, all different walks of life. Everyone can do this. And if you think about past lives, it's not specifically reincarnation because it's not spirit, it's not religious. Half the
Mm.
world currently believes in reincarnation from a young age: Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, Jainism. It's the West that forgot. And so I call it it's more spiritual, not religious, but it adds to the validity of a higher power and faith and God and
Mm.
Jesus and everything like that. So we can take the good. And so yeah, I do this with people from all over, and it's almost like, imagine your life like a book. We're currently in the chapter, and the pages are being written every day, and the future pages are blank, but the past pages are already filled in, and those are our past lives that
Mm.
perhaps have shaped some of the essence of who we are today.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much, Jonathan. So I know we briefly talked about this, and obviously listening to you, I know you said that usually a session is like 2 to 3 hours. But I know this was something you offered, and whether this is something you still want to have to show. But like, I'm open and willing to whatever it is that you feel like maybe one of your techniques or something, or show a preview of or an insight into what you usually do. I'm an open book and happy to be your moderator.
You guys want to try a suggestibility exercise at
Yeah,
home?
yeah.
Okay, so if you're driving, don't do this, but it'll just take a minute. But this is a suggestibility test we do with hypnosis. First I'll explain for just briefly for like 30 seconds what it is and what it isn't. So hypnosis is not sleep, it's not unconscious. You would be the first person ever to get stuck. That doesn't happen. It was kind of a movie, and if we think about the people that run the world, if we wanted to manipulate people over decades of time, you'd take control of the media and the narrative and put whatever you want in there, and it slowly shifts people's perspective over time. So they've almost every episode or movie on hypnosis has been scary or negative, and that's why we think it's scary or negative, even though it's not. We go in and out of it 12 times a day. If you are driving and so that's a really common form of hypnosis is highway hypnosis when you're driving
Mm.
and you're going autopilot. You might miss your turn, but you're safe, but you're just thinking about a thought. Maybe you're thinking about my words in this podcast right now.
Yeah.
Before sleep and when we wake up is we go through the theta frequency. And in that frequency, it's kind of like meditation. The critical factor, the conscious mind is kind of turned down. It's kind of sleeping, and it allows us to receive powerful suggestions like dry skin absorbs lotion. It's stick in there, so it becomes our truth. So it's client led, not hypnotherapist led. So the client is telling the hypnotherapist what they want to do it on. And it's really natural, really easy. So if you want to see if you have a creative imagination, let's do this fun exercise.
Okay.
So everybody, if you can see me, follow me. And if you can't see me, just listen to my voice. So take your hands and put them together, interlock your fingers and put them a foot in front of your face. So you have your interlocked fingers, your hands are grasped tight and about a foot in front of your forehead. Now put your elbows out. So spread your elbows out a little bit. And then put your two index fingers about an inch apart. Now stare at the space between your index fingers, not me. Imagine there's magnets at the end of your fingertips. And right about now, those magnets get stronger and stronger and stronger. And now they're getting so strong now. The magnets are pulling those fingers together even more now. And show of hands, I usually say, whose fingers came together a little bit? So you guys are using your creative imagination to make that happen. You're allowing it to happen. So that was just a short suggestibility test. We do a lot of stage hypnotists do that actually. So
Amazing. I love that.
another tip is if we want to have more positive thoughts, if you have a bracelet on, anytime you have a negative thought, switch the wrist of the bracelet and turn it to positive. That'll give you an actionable physical thing as well as mental. So maybe I have a thought and I'm doing dishes and I don't like dishes, so my brain recalibrates to collect and filter all my negative thoughts because I don't like doing this activity we associated with negative behavior. And then we think of those negative thoughts, unfortunately. So we can switch the bracelet, turn it to positive, and be in the moment by saying, I'm doing the dishes. I'm doing the dishes. I'm doing the dishes. And so you kind of repeat what you're doing in a funny way, and you're in the moment then, and you can't think of two things at the same time, so you just think about what you're doing. So those are a few tips.
I love that. And I noticed like this could just be a coincidence, but I noticed you said it kind of 3 times. Would you say like repetition is really key as well?
Yeah, and you can say it way more than that. It's just I think it's funny to repeat things in different moods or different tones
Yeah.
of voice.
Well,
So
it taps into that the child, the playfulness, doesn't it? Because actually recently I had someone say a lady was looking in the mirror and like he said, oh, what all the things you're thinking about yourself, oh, I'm ugly, I'm this and that, and he says, okay, say it again, say, I'm ugly, I'm really, really ugly. And it was just like, we're laughing, she's laughing, and then by the end of it makes complete sense, and it just sounds like so silly, but it's not. Like, it's our mind can be so unkind sometimes. Yeah, and very random as well. Like, even sometimes when I'm doing my I do certain moves like meditative dance, and like say I'm like I am grounded or something, and I hear sometimes like I don't know, and I'm like, what, like, where does that come from? It's just like this, unkind voice, and then it's just like, but, and I know some people probably won't understand this, but it can't be you, because and this was the most powerful thing I learned, is before I used to think every single thought was me. Whereas I'm like, but if I'm saying that and then I'm hearing the opposite, how can that be the same? And I know, again, it could be a version that, didn't used to be so kind and empowering in her mind. And yeah, and I just think, like, sometimes to shut it down, it's almost harder than just making a joke and a playfulness out of it. Um,
I love that example. That's amazing. Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
I've been I was at home alone and I wanted to go to the living room and I said, let's go to the living room in my mind. I didn't say it out loud. But I'm like, who's let's? You're alone, Jonathan. Who are you with? So so yes, we are not our thoughts. We have an ego self, our physical being that we let go of in this when we drop the body. And our higher self imagine your higher self is an unlimited spirit being, but we can't take all that energy into these physical bodies yet. Earth has not calibrated and raised the frequency enough. We can only take a fraction of that higher self into this body. And so we have a physical body, etherical body, spiritual. So there's all these layers of who we are. And a lot of time our ego gets in the way. It's kind of what keeps us alive, because we do have danger sometimes in this physical world, but a lot of times we can turn that dial down if we're on fight or flight, anxiety, something happened when we were younger in childhood, and we are able to address that and alleviate that with a few sessions. This isn't like months of therapy, guys. This is like 2 or 3 sessions. We get
Wow.
to the root cause, we make the changes, and it's almost like that dial of shame or guilt or grief is just gone and it's just turned down. We didn't forget the lesson. We just let go of the emotional impact it has on us currently. So it's very
Mm,
effective and efficient. I've studied multiple, probably hundreds of modalities, and I really vibed with the hypnosis, Reiki, and energy. That's just me. I think they're all tools that we can all use, all
yeah,
these
yeah.
modalities, but that's kind of why I chose this path. Also, my friends said I have a good bedtime story voice. So,
Well, I think that's super important as well, isn't it? Like, whether we say the frequency, but like that's really important as well because if you know you're in your hypnotherapist session and then you got like someone, and I think this is why also we should open our mind because I think again, like say becoming a coach or this, we have this like, oh, there's so many, this no, but no one is you. So it's like even if you know, say like I had the same training or whatever as you, I have a very different voice. I'm a female, you're a male. Like there's enough for us all. There's no scarcity or lack. There's abundance, and just really believe in yourself. But yeah, I agree. You have a really, really calming, really lovely nature. It's nice.
yeah. And I usually talk a little slower in the sessions, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so that was one thing I had to get past when I was starting out is like, well, there's other hypnosis people. Why don't they go to them? But you're not selling hypnosis, you're selling you. They're
Absolutely.
coming to you. People don't watch the podcast that you do. They want to, for just for information, they want Shell's opinion. They want your
Absolutely.
why. They want to know what Shell's thinking, right?
Yeah.
So
And the
in
same as with you, like, and I think that's a beautiful thing. But I also equally, and I'm sure you think the same, I think it's also good to go through that process. Because, you know, otherwise, why are we here if we just like, oh yeah, I can do that, I can do this, I can, you know, what's the point then? Like, of course, even sometimes when we do this many sessions and then go like, oh, why didn't I start like offering this or start doing that? It's the learning, isn't it? It goes back to that. Like sometimes we have to give ourselves that chance and realize, no, I can do this. I am worthy of this and whatever. And I think it's a beautiful quality to have actually.
Mhm.
When we
Yeah,
just see it differently.
yeah, I love the diversity of thoughts and intellect, and we are the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. So get around other, if you want to be a stock trader, get around other stock traders that are doing that. If you want to
Mm,
be a Reiki person, get around other people, you'll learn more with that proximity. And think about this, guys, there is someone out there with half of your talent doing what you want to do right now. You're
mm,
way more skilled and talented. You just need to put yourself out there. And yes, your 10th session will be better than your first, but you're not going to get to the 10th until you do the first. So
absolutely.
going in that right direction, consistent action with impact. And, hypnosis can help get over that. My first hypnosis session, afterward, I won my first disc golf tournament. I got a girlfriend and was top sales guy in my company
Wow.
after one session. So all my limiting
Wow.
beliefs about worthiness were gone, and I flourished into that, and that lasted. So, we can't get out of our current problems, Einstein said, with our current thinking. We need to change our thinking.
Mm,
And there's 8 billion people out there. Someone knows the answer to everything. So you have more resources than ever. There's more distractions than ever, too. But if you stay focused on your priorities, there's more
yeah.
resources out there like podcasts like this, all kinds of things. So keep going.
You're amazing. And I think going back to something you said earlier, which maybe will help change or reprogram the whole hypnotherapist thing, what I noticed you say a lot of, which is really beautiful, is it's all led by you anyway. So actually everything, and when I say you, I mean the person you are doing the session on. And even when I've had a Reiki session before, you're still aware. You're just in such a relaxed state. Um, And it's almost the feeling I got, it was almost like, you know, that child just when they're just about to doze off to sleep and they're just like, you know, I love you, mummy, or they're having a little story or something. And honestly, it was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had. And yeah, obviously it is down again to the delivery, but like nowadays, like we're so blessed that we don't have to be in the same country, in the same town. Like what you said, everything is global now, which is exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I do hypnosis on myself, self-hypnosis every day. So I'll be using my app more than anyone probably because there'll be
Wow.
a feature on there to type in anything that you want. Like if you're, I help people with nail biting or stop drinking pop, like weird kind of, I guess I shouldn't call it weird, but unusual things. And
Mm-mm.
so there'll be a spot for to create your own sessions on anything. There'll be generic things like wealth and success and sleep and stuff like that. But I'll be typing in. So it gets you to that meditative frequency, but it's a lot easier, I think, than meditation because meditation is very silent and we
Mm.
all have thoughts, and that takes focus to shut the thoughts off. With the hypnosis or guided meditation, you're following a voice to relax the breathing, the body, and the mind. It takes, it's effortless. You just go to that as long as you're just aware of listening. You get to that frequency, you stay there for like 20 minutes, and then you go on with your day feeling refreshed because just like a computer running all these programs in the background, we need a reset every now and then, and that makes us more work more optimally. You won't forget anything you need to. You'll everything will still be there, I promise, but those weird the negative thoughts, the programs that aren't serving you will diminish.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much, Jonathan. And obviously, if there's anything else you would love to share, feel free right now. But yeah, what a blessing this session has been.
Well, I know I usually share a story,
Yeah,
past
yeah.
life story, and so I haven't done that yet, I don't think. So I'll share a story about, let's do, I haven't told this one in a while, and this was one of my first sessions. I call it Assassin's Creed. And there was this young spiritual lady who was a very capable, not assassin, but like just really capable person that could hide and jump like a ninja, kind of.
Mm.
And she went into a past life and she was searching for an amulet. And this amulet was being searched for by thousands of people. Like armies were looking for this thing. It was kind of like the Holy Grail or Ark of the Covenant, but she wasn't sure what it was. I think it was an amulet that was green. And so she was searching for this and she was going. She says, yeah, I'm searching. I'm on a quest. I'm on a mission. I'm looking for this amulet. And okay, what happens next? Oh, I'm in a tree observing the army next to me. I'm like, oh, army, aren't you scared they're gonna capture you? She's like, no, I'm better than them. I'm quieter. I'm faster. And I know what I'm doing. And so she was very confident. And okay, what happens next? Well, it's a few more days later, and now I'm in a field and I follow a shooting star in that nighttime, and it guides me to receive help from a person gave her supplies and like helped her on her mission.
Mm.
So, and then, okay, I want to get to this amulet, you know? So I'm like, okay, let's, what happens next? And she says, I'm climbing a mountain and I almost fall and my all my supplies fall off, but I'm okay. And she gets into the cave and she finds the amulet. And when she held it, she was kind of quiet for like a minute. Her whole body was vibrating, she said, at a high frequency because it amplified any emotion that she had. It amplified
Mm.
that emotion by 1,000. And so she felt it feels so good. Like she was just holding it. I'm
Mm.
like, wow, amazing. What are you gonna do with it? She's like, well, I can't let anyone else get it. I'm like, why not? She said, well, humanity's not ready for it yet. If it falls into the wrong hands, someone could use it. It amplifies emotions, but it also amplifies negative emotions.
Mm.
So she said, okay, well, I'm gonna hide it. So she went miles and miles and miles away and she found another cave and she hid it in the cave. And I said, okay, how are you gonna find it? She said, well, I'm gonna leave it there. Maybe one day someone will find it. I'm gonna draw a treasure map. So she drew a map and she put the map in a portal, and I can't find the map, unfortunately, but I'm on this treasure hunt, guys. I'm trying to find this treasure, but that was a really amazing session. I still
Wow.
remember it to this day, and the lady was so happy, and it helped her. She's on a mission now too, for awakening humanity. So
Wow. So based on that, like what you said, she would have an intention before going into that, and then the whatever comes up would unfold based on the intention.
yeah, yeah, the higher self will show you. It's based on your intentions. Her intention was, I think it was, where does my spiritual background come from? Or
Wow.
she does Reiki and many things. So. So yeah, that's a kind of a longer example. I just did a session where someone had a birthmark on their shoulder, and they went to a past life where, and it aches and pains in this life, but no reason. They never fell on it. In a past life, they were a Native American Indian. They were jumping across a river, and they fell in the river, and they went over the waterfall. They
Mm.
broke their shoulder. They couldn't draw back a bow or use their body. He ended up losing the girl because he was really depressed, and that emotional charge and trauma carried over in the form of the birthmark and shoulder pain. After the session, we released it. The birthmark was still there, but the aches and pains went away.
Wow.
So, and it explained his relationship. He has similar relationship with a woman leaving him and coming back. So that sometimes these cycles and
Wow.
patterns continue.
Wow. And then often, I guess, it's not really your place, but do you find that people pop up again afterwards and they'll reveal like what's kind of like a testimonial, or do you find like, because I wonder now what's been unfolding in his life since then, because obviously it's, as much as like it's not a story, but the story's lovely, there's something really significant and profound that's going to unfold as like what you say, like already feeling that release from his body. It's incredible. I think it's
Yeah.
amazing, and you've definitely inspired me to look into it more. I'm
Okay.
really
You probably have some really insightful sessions, Shel. Everyone can do this. And on my YouTube and my socials, I have a bunch of testimonials from very recent clients that go into detail about how it is. So definitely check those out. I think if this calls to you, you should, if it calls to you for a reason, think deep about that, and
Mm.
why you want to do it. And it can be transformational. It can be good to spiritually progress, alleviate things, and get clarity on the future.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I guess there's things in all our lives where we do it, but we don't have any understanding why we do it, and even that alone just has a powerful, just going back to something and being like, oh, I'm making the link, just really gives that clarity, doesn't it? So thank you so much.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed this. I know there's so much more we could touch on, but I want to be really mindful of your time. So what I always just love to ask before you go is if there's something, just anything that comes to your mind that you feel like someone listening right now would really benefit from hearing, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to be the change you wish to see in the world. Don't complain about it. Don't uh, force others to do it. You do it. You be that change. And what you're not changing, you're choosing. So life is either hard on us or we're hard on ourselves. And so challenge ourselves. You're capable of so much more.
Mm.
And being that best version of yourself that you know you are deep down.
I love that, and it's really interesting that you just brought that up, because just before connecting with you, you write that at the bottom of your email. And I remember I was reflecting on something recently, and the reason why I'm particularly picking things that I'm picking. And I saw that just at the bottom, and I was like, that is my why. That is my why, because what I was doing previously was not what I wanted. So, again, trust And just know that regardless of the external, sometimes that there is a reason why you've made the decisions you've made up to this point. And yeah, just have that faith in yourself. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's such a pleasure being here. Check out our other episodes for more really amazing guests. If you as you guys like the episode, you want to try my app. It's Journeys into the Subconscious. Journeys into the Subconscious for the app. I think you guys will really like it. There's nothing else like it on the market. And then if you guys are interested in learning hypnotherapy, that's happening soon. And if you have any questions at all, I'm here to help, guys. Just message me.
Incredible. And I will put all the details in the description as well so people can go and check it all out. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
Thank you.